Hey, well, thank you everybody for coming out for our travel info night intro to solo cruising. This is actually an encore presentation of this. So if you joined us once before, it's going to be similar information. However, if you are new, then it's going to be all new information. So hopefully, if you've seen this before, it'll still give you some new information here. So my name is Claudette. I run Claudette Travels. I also have some travel groups on Meetup as well as on Facebook. So I hope you were able to find us through one of those, or and then I'll have this posted on YouTube later. And and I'm also a member of Travel Planners International, who's also part of Signature Consortia, which means I've got a lot of support behind me. Sorry, I'm trying to go to the next screen. There we go. So, to give you a little background about me, I am an avid traveler and I've got the receipts to show it. I started traveling internationally when I was in high school. I was with a group, but still kind of by myself, traveling with classmates and such. And then I got into corporate travel, putting other trips together for people, but also accompanying them. And then I got to do my first cruise in 2009, which was the overnight party cruise between Seattle and Vancouver. And I think we started in Vancouver back to Seattle, but it was a while ago, so I can't really remember. But I've been hosting those cruises since 2009, and I'll talk more about that a little later in the presentation. Then I got to go over to Europe in 2012. Uh, and I wind up living there. And then I started group travel in 2013. And when I say group travel, it's basically bringing people together and where we're able to hang out together, but we're able to do whatever we want. Hang out by ourselves or hang with the group. That's kind of how I like doing my group trips. I got to go to Africa in 2017. Again, being a part of a group, but also being a solo traveler. And then in 2019, I became a travel agent and just really dove into my passion of organizing trips for solo travelers. And now I've been on 40 cruises and counting. Have one coming up next month. And visited 30 countries, 25 states. And I love foreign languages. I love speaking languages of the places that I travel. And I am now at 12 languages, which will probably stay steady for a while. I got to get a little more up to, or get a little more in depth with those languages before I get another one. So, as I mentioned, I run some travel groups, and these are the Facebook group is great for the solo traveler, for solo travelers. I post on a regular basis cruises that offer reduced or waived single supplement fee. And if you don't know what that is, don't worry, I will get more into that. So I'm trying to move this bar out of the way here. I'll get more into that. And then I also run Bon Voyage. It used to be Bon Voyage Cruises. I was trying to cover that up and I didn't go and move stuff around and forgot to move that back. So yeah, we were Bon Voyage, then Bon Voyage Cruises, and now we're back to Bon Voyage because I wanted to do have it more inclusive instead of just cruises. And for those that are looking at this on a laptop, you're welcome to click on my QR code to get my contact information as well as to get directly to the website. And then the last one, since I'm based out of the Seattle area, I have a Seattle social group and for social engagements and getaways. So just another place to post trips and get travelers together. Because if you've ever got to get together with other travelers, it's a fun thing. And last screen about me, so I can get into the crux of the matter. And I just wanted to share this with you to show that I do know what I'm talking about. I have accreditations and memberships with several cruise lines, several partner hotel and destinations. So that is my expert receipts, I guess you could say. So. A lot of people are wondering, what is a single supplement fee that you hear about or single supplement rates? So the main thing to think about is that cruise lines will charge per bed in the cabin or berths, as they call it. And even though you can add in a third or fourth passenger many times, they're looking at the two main beds in the cabin, which they can push together. So I like to say that the price that you're seeing, uh, if it's for two people and they give you the total for two people, that's actually the total for the cabin. But the way they market it is they're showing you price per person based on double occupancy. And the double occupancy is what that cabin is going for. So when you see a single supplement rate or single occupancy rate, it will that people will say, oh, it's 200% because you're paying the per bed. And then if it's waived, then you're just paying 100%. And that's, sorry, 200% of the per person rate. So you're paying the per person rate twice. Or if it's waived, you're only paying the per person um, just for one person versus it having to have two people in the cabin. Nice thing is that taxes and port fees are only charged by person, and nowadays cruise lines are including the taxes and port fees in the rate. So if they're saying that it's 250 per person, uh, and then you double that for two people, it'd be 500 for the cabin. It'll actually be a little bit less for the one person since you're not paying that second taxes and port fees. And then also some cruise lines offer solo cabins. They tend to be a little bit smaller, but sometimes they offer the full-size cabin, but just for one person, and offer you a discounted rate on that. And certain cruise lines, Norwegian is very popular with this, where they have a solo cruise, or sorry, solo cabin or single cabin occupant have access to a special lounge just for them, which is a really great place to go and meet other solo travelers that you know are traveling solo. Now, there is a difference between solo and single, where, let's see how I can say this. Single travelers are always solo travelers, or at least in that particular moment, but solo travelers are not necessarily single, as in marital status. Nowadays, you'll see a lot of married people, especially women, traveling without their spouses. Not that they don't love their spouse may not like to travel, and they're not going to not give up their passion for traveling for their spouse. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And there are plenty of pros and cons with solo traveling. And I'm going to say, oh, I forgot to add this in the housekeeping. If you have any questions, feel free to interrupt. I can't see the screen when I have a question. I'll check at that after the presentation, but who knows, I might. But if you have any questions, welcome to wait to the end, or you're welcome to ask along the way. So getting back into it, pros and cons of solo cruising. So with that, well, I'll start with the pros. The pros is that you get the cabin all to yourself. There is no jockeying for space in the cabin or closet space or dresser space or time in the bathroom. It is yours. And that is really meaningful because on some cruise lines, the cabins can be relatively small, like about a couple hundred square feet or so. And you look at two people in there, especially if you're not, like, it's not a spouse or a close relative or a very close friend. And that can be really tight quarters. And you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about somebody snoring or somebody wants the curtains open when you want them closed, or going to bed and getting up at different times. You just have that freedom. And a lot of people are of the age, it's like, I don't want a roommate. I just want my own cabin. And so this is the benefit of that. And another thing with solo cruising, especially versus solo traveling, is that people on the cruise ship are very friendly. First off, they will have a single and solo cruiser meet and greets, so you can meet up with other solo travelers. I will admit certain cruise lines do that better than others. I've been on cruise lines such as, sorry, Silver Sea, where not only did they have people get together for the single solo cruiser meet and greets, they also had staff on the ship that mingled with us during those, and they would accompany us to dinner. So if I wanted to go to dinner and I didn't have or meet a new friend to go to dinner with, or maybe I was too shy to ask somebody to go to dinner with, I can ask one of the crew members to arrange to have a dinner companion for me. So I would have that. And then other cruises actually have tables where you can, especially for dinner, have it where you can sit at a community table, or if one's not started, you can start a community table. And I've actually done that multiple times. I've cruised. When I'm not cruising with the group, where I'm the host of it, I will cruise by myself. And I had a situation where I was on one cruise, I believe it was last year, I was doing a 4 night cruise, and every night I was able to sit with other people. And one night I actually had some work to do. So I brought my computer to the dinner table and was doing that, and then had to go, back to my cabin afterwards. And people were like, "Oh, do you want to sit with other people?" And other people that I saw the previous nights were like, "Oh, you're sitting by yourself. Come join us." It's like, "Oh, no, no, I got work to do." And we had so much fun talking at the table, just meeting new people, talking about what they did during the day or excursions, to where we missed the shows after dinner. We just had so much great conversations. So, and travelers love to talk and they love to meet other people. So even if you're on the shy side or worried about being lonely, um, I would say don't try to have something to bring to the conversation or start the conversation, but chances are, if you're a good listener, you'll have plenty of people who'll want to talk to you. Now, the cons of solo traveling would be the cost. Many cruise lines will not waive the single supplement or offer any price breaks for solo cruisers. So you are paying the full cabin fare without any reduction. And the way I help people swallow that pill, if you will, that bit of medicine, is again going back and thinking about the cost of the cabin as a whole for two people or one person, because that's going to be the cost of the cabin, regardless if it's one or two people, just like a hotel room. Hotels will say it's $500 a night, but if you have two people sharing it that are splitting the bill, then it's $250 a night. So I try to get my solo travelers to think about it in that regard. And then if you get a discount as a solo traveler, so much the better. Because bottom line, cruise lines are out here to make money, and they make money with more people on the ship. So if you're taking a cabin up for yourself that could have two people in it, the cruise line is actually losing a bit of revenue on you. So, and also they don't really have to reduce the rate, but because their marketing is so focused on the per person, that's where you're getting a benefit of cruise lines offering you a discount on the single supplement. Some other down or cons of solo cruising, maybe going out on excursions and you don't have that person to go with you. While you'll meet other people on the excursions and they'll be happy to talk with you, and I've done this as well. uh you know it may not necessarily be comfortable for everybody to strike up a conversation with a complete stranger, but if you're open to that, people are more than willing to talk with you, invite you into their group if they're with a group of people, or just even meet up one on one as well. Uh, and again, I mentioned about solo cruising doesn't mean that you're alone. Just saying hi to somebody could be enough to start the conversation. Or the biggest thing, because you're on a cruise with people that could literally be from anywhere in the world, it's like, "Hi, where are you from?" Or, "Hi, have you been on this cruise ship before?" So especially, I mentioned about my shy people, because here in the Seattle area, we have a lot of shy, introverted people that are not used to talking to strangers. So if even if you have to pre-program and write down some conversation starters or conversation opener questions, those would be: where are you from? Have you cruised this line before? Have you been to the ports of call? How's your cruise going so far? Or what's been your favorite restaurant on the ship or your favorite dish? Things that you're interested in, ask them what their favorite of it is, or their take of something that you liked on the cruise, or maybe didn't like. But I like to stay on the positive and say what you liked. Uh, and then, the floodgates will open. There are a lot of outgoing, extroverted people on the cruise, and everybody likes somebody that can, listen and chime in. So that could be something that helps. And then lastly, on this slide here, and I've mentioned it before, where I host groups where there are a bunch of people that are solo travelers or singles, marital wise, and join a group. Join, like, I'm hosting three overnight party cruises in the out of the Seattle Vancouver area this year because that's all they're offering. The first, and I'll go back into that. I have a slide for that. But if you join with a group, and group travel is not the way that it used to be. It's not your parents' group travel where you are doing everything together from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. There are some cruise, or sorry, there's some tour companies that are like that, but nowadays people are looking at having free time to do things on their own, and having a nice balance of free time on their own and then time with the group. And so going with a group does not mean that you're joined at the hip, and you have a great opportunity of meeting up with other people to share your day, and also do fun things and excursions with. So, for example, when I host one of my trips, like the cruise that I was talking, or one of the cruises I was talking about, I will give a schedule of the things that I'm doing that people can join me on, and then they can go off on their own, or not even join me if they don't want to. But I do encourage people to get together at dinner time, and that is a great time to connect with people, talk about your day, hear about other people's experiences, learn about special places on the ship that you might not have thought about or heard about or even knew of. So you can go explore, and just a great way to connect. So I wanted this to be a little interactive here. I know I've done a lot of talking so far, but the first thing is I'm curious, how many cruise lines do you think are out there in the world? And we're talking from river cruises, like the cruise ships that you see back here, expedition cruises, tall ships, luxury lines, um, niche cruises, kind of like the Paul Gauguin or Margaritaville at sea. So here I'm gonna see if I can flip over to the comments to see what people have put in. Let me see if I can get there. Oh, well, I just ruined it. So I'll go back and see who wrote down the right number. But and this is not even a firm number. It seems to be fluctuating, but there are about 59 cruises, give or take a couple. You're looking at cruise lines like Virgin Voyages that are adults only, or Ama Waterways that does river cruises. You got the specialty like Disney, and a lot of the ones that we know about like Carnival and Royal Caribbean, Holland, Princess, Norwegian, and such. So, but 59 is a fairly good number. Oh, and here's a list. Forgot that I have this up here. So again, this list might need to be updated because there's been some changes. But this is to give you an idea how many cruise lines there are. So if you're not finding rates that you want on one, there's some other ones, or just even experiences and itineraries. There's a whole host of experiences for you. So I do. Oh, no, I'm going to go back one screen because I'm trying to find how I can get. Oh, I'm going to go back over here. Oh, okay. So I'm just looking at. So we had someone guess around 440. Well, 40 was close. So, good try, good try. And so now let's see if you can guess how many cruise lines offer solo cabins, and bonus points if you can actually name the cruise lines who offer solo cabins. And I'm really curious to see what you're going to say. Oh, no takers yet. Oh, Brenda meant 400 or 40 cabins. Okay. Oh, sorry. That was the same one. Okay. I am not, I don't have my screen here showing you how many. Yeah, let's see. We got my message here. 10 Royal Caribbean and Norwegian NCL. That's good here. And I'm gonna cheat. I have to go look at my backup page. I want to say there's about 15 of them, and these I'm sorry. Oh, let me get back over to my main screen. There are about 15 cruise lines that offer solo cabins, and they do tend to change. One of my guests, she's going on American Cruise Line. They do river cruises here in the United States, and they offer solo cabins. And actually, when I mentioned earlier that there's some cruise lines that will give you this solo cabin, but it's just a regular cabin, that's one of the cruise lines. And then as I mentioned, like Norwegian has the solo crew or solo cabin lounge. Let's see. Yeah, and then some of the other cruise lines, they're coming around and getting more, but right now I believe it's really Norwegian being the leader in it. And then when you do find, so that it's not going to be on every ship, it's not going to be on every sailing or every itinerary, but there could be a good mix of getting that solo rate as well as, or the option of getting a solo cabin. So, as I was mentioning, the Pacific Northwest cruises, we have three this year that are just one night cruise. There's actually another 4 night cruise that's starting on the 22nd, but I believe I know they were in waitlist status, so they're getting very close to being sold out. But for those that are in and around the greater Seattle, Vancouver, BC area or want to come out, these are a very, very fun way of getting your feet wet. I mean, just the cruise alone, people will, you have bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, family getaways. Um, and they're doing something a little different than they've done before the pandemic. I call BC, where now we're having a Labor Day cruise that will take place the day before Labor Day and arrive on Labor Day, and then a full weekend cruise in October. However, the May 2nd to 3rd one, it's a Friday to Saturday cruise. And what happens, they'll start in Seattle in the spring and then, or sorry, they'll start in Vancouver in the spring and then start in Seattle in the fall. And so in the spring, we're going up a day early, grabbing a bite to eat together so we get to mix and mingle with people, and then be on the cruise ship. And then also, I've tried to get back into my meet and greets before the cruises, so people can meet me ahead of time and meet other people that are either signed up or booked on. And one thing that I forgot to mention on a previous slide, or just previously, is that if you book a cruise and you book a solo cabin or you get a solo rate or however, if you're just going solo, check on Facebook. I know Facebook gets a lot of bad publicity sometimes, but again, I like to look to the positive, and one of the positives is that different cruise lines will set up a Facebook page just for their solo travelers. It could be for that particular sailing or a particular ship, or just for solo travelers overall, so you can connect with other people that are cruising on that line, to maybe connect with them before you go on a cruise, or just get some additional solo cruiser rates or cruiser deals, or sorry, cruiser tips. There we go. And then one other thing I'd like to throw out there for you is that you can actually become a travel agent, and then really get rid of the single supplement costs with it. And that is one of the reasons I like being a travel agent, because we get some really great rates and deals. For example, just for doing training with Princess and Cunard, you get a free cruise, and you can bring a guest or you can go by yourself. So you can't get much better than that. I mean, you are paying taxes and port fees. I want to be transparent there. But outside of that, you're getting a free cruise. And then every now and then some other cruise lines like MSC will offer free or tax and port fee only rates for travel agents. And then immediately you'll get net rates off the bat. I have all of my new travel agents sign up for the CLIA membership, which is a it's a calendar membership, but I'm not going to go into all of that right now. But what I will say is it will unlock the travel agent rates for a lot of cruise lines, and then some even friends and family rates. And then you have the opportunity of getting some more free cruises. Let's see here. All right, so that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for coming on, listening to me here. I hope I addressed a lot of your concerns, and if I haven't, please, take a screenshot, jot down my information. And everybody here got the email with all of these in that, so you have that there. But if you want to jot that down, especially, or for those that are watching the recording, it's going to be in the description section of the event.